we will be in fact starting now. This is the third session on this presentation skills, and if there are any questions from the previous sessions and there is any issue from the previous sessions, I would like you to raise it if you would like to do it right now. So if anybody has any issue or any question, etc., you can raise it. Or if there is any special thing that you would like me to handle, you can also say that, right? I understand that perhaps that is not the issue. So what I'll do is I would in fact, as I have told you that this entire course is about how to deliver a session very effectively. So this is the session, this is the course for delivering an effective session. So today we'll carry on this. Last time we had actually done on icebreakers and type of icebreakers, etc. that should be there. And today we'll look at several aspects of how to really begin the sort of your session, and how to make it like everyone wants, really, how to make my session exciting, right? Isn't that an issue with most of you, that you would like to really learn on how to make my session very exciting, right? Okay. So would somebody like to share how they actually, use some methods, some tricks or something by which they really make the session very exciting? Go ahead, anyone? Yeah, would you like to? So is it a little late in the day, or getting a little lethargy of the afternoon? Of course, in some northern India, there's a little warmer, getting warmer, and yeah. So, okay. No one, it seems, has, would like to share this, share anything right now. And this essentially is one of the sort of, challenge to the trainer, how to really mm, uh, sa- provoke the participants to really participate, isn't it? That's one of the challenges that all of us have as a trainer, that we want the people to participate, but it doesn't come automatically. So we have to sort of, find ways and means by which we can really make the people participate, right? So, okay, Bhumi has asked, what is the question again? So my question was that, are there some ways and means, some tricks that you have used to make your session exciting? That's my question.
Sir, the network over here is not, I mean, there are certain issues. I could not listen to the voice
So
properly.
now you have understood the question.
No, sir, no, sir. Right now, the network was having some issues, so I did not understand, I mean, listen to it completely. Could you
Yeah.
please? Yeah.
So the question is how to make a session exciting,
Okay, okay.
right?
A training session, right?
Yeah, training session.
Sir, if I, matlab, as far as education industry is concerned, I try to see that my session should never be a boring session.
Okay.
That is
Mhm.
first and foremost thing. There has to be a humor content
Mhm.
in a way which is not, intentionally targeted at someone, but just a light humor which makes the candidates and trainees, interested in the session. And they, because I am into language training, and sometimes it gets boring if it is a prolonged session. We
Mm.
have to make sure. I make sure on a personal basis.
Oh, so what I heard you saying that right at the beginning you would like to make it humorous. Is that so?
Not right at the beginning. It's like
Uh,
all throughout
okay.
the yes lecture, wherever I feel like certain topic is difficult,
Hmm.
then
Okay.
I would try to make them remember in a way that is humorous as well as they would never forget. Like I have sometimes students or candidates coming up to me
Hmm.
2 to 3 years after the session was conducted, and they still remember what was there, which was
Okay.
surprising for me. I did not remember, but they still remember.
Mhm.
It was
So
amazing.
did they remember the content of it, or did they remember only the story or the joke?
No content as well, because they started using it likewise, and they said that we do not do any mistakes over here because we remember every time we mistake and correct ourselves.
Okay, good, good. So that's the challenge that a trader is having, and today we'll really talk about some of those issues, how to really make it, interesting and take it forward. Right? Okay. So let me begin with sharing some of the things which I have put down in a slide format. That's the PowerPoint format, and yeah. I have come a little ahead of this. Yeah. So the so our topic essentially remains is delivering an effective training session, and the a few issues on delivering we'll talk about. We'll also talk about how to create a better involvement or participation of the people. And also one aspect which is very important is that as a trainer, how do you manage yourself during the training? That is, how do you handle yourself, right? That's an important part. And if there is a time, then I could move over to the fourth point, which is making it stick, right? So uh, in the delivering, uh, when you are delivering online and when you're delivering offline, there are differences, obviously, because online has a certain different sort of requirement, and offline would have some sort of very different requirements. So my thoughts and ideas, in fact, today will be, where I will be taking both offline as online. So obviously, so some of the these checklists I think I had shared with you earlier also, so I do not have to go over that, and I don't think it is there is really a point to be discussed or debated on that. The process on that, I would say, is as far as offline, session is concerned, when you are physically present, this is important for you to see that whether you will be largely as a trainer remain more fixed to a place or you will be moving. And I think we talked about this earlier, that when you have a small group and you have the pattern of sitting more like a U-shaped, then there is a possibility of moving. But if you have a large number of people, the movement, etc., is going to be limited, right? So this is again very simple things which I would share with you. The uh, issues which we were talking is how to make the opening exciting, right? That's the challenge, and that in fact is that right at the beginning. How do you catch the attention of the people? So for that, people try to innovate on the subject and bring in a, a different approach, new approach, and all that, right? The a few things which I would give you for the guidance is, you make agreeable points first, and do not start with a controversy. That's another thing. You should typically avoid a long story because you do not know whether people have already heard that story or so. And at the start, it will be better not to use the jokes or so, unless you are really very sure that you can really carry it very well. And you're telling them that what is in it for them, why should they be attending and paying attention to you, throughout the program, throughout the session. is also important. So that's something which I think is understood by all of you. Now, one other thing, I would like you to now do is, I would like you to watch a video. And the video is on great openings and closings. Right? This is a 9-minute video. It's not a long video. And I would like to give you this video. Now, the video is on YouTube. And I'm going to be using the YouTube link over here and sharing with you this. Okay. And give you this link. Now, how I am going to give you the link is that because we are using Zoom platform, I can give you this link on the chat box, right? And I'm just, mm, yeah, uh, putting the link on chat box, right? Okay. And I would like all of you to really go through this video. How do you go through this video? Is simple. You click on this link in your laptop, computer, or your mobile. This video will start off, right? And now, uh, in between, I do not have to say anything. As the title says, it is about how do you really have great openings and great closings, right? Okay, so that's the starting point. So let me, yeah, here it is. Here is your, link. Click it, and you will get it. Right. After the video, I would like you to really share some summary important points that you learned in this video.
My name is Deborah Grayson Regal, and I have been a professional.
I understand by now you would have completed your watching the video. Now, there are a few things that I would like to really talk about this. Now, this video, of course, was a little close to what I wanted you to learn. But then more important than that was that how do you use videos in your presentation? The important thing is that you must select a good video. And in fact, it creates I would say a interesting diversion also, and sometime of course it may be very useful to make a point short in a very succinct manner and in a very emphatic manner. Now these videos could be either your own. You can also have your own videos which you can really record them earlier and then put it up on the YouTube. The way you use these videos is that I could have used this video from my laptop, but because of say limitations in the your connectivity and the Wi-Fi speeds, etc., that creates more problems. Therefore, best is to give the link in chat box and then let the people see it directly. They can also record that or copy that link, and maybe they would like to view it again also after the session is over. So that's the type of thing that is important for us to remember. In fact, what we have to look at it, that we have to, in order to make our session interesting, we can use videos, and there we can use online material. There can be online questionnaires also. We can also use online videos which might not be on YouTube, but it may be there on some other sort of websites. So you should always brief the participants before starting the video. I had briefed you and I said that I would like to ask you and summarize what are the new things that you have learned. So I'm going to be falling back on that and asking you, okay, who amongst you would like to really summarize or say what are the important things that you learned in in this video? Yeah. So can I ask Manali Gupta? She was the first one to join today. Manali, would you like to summarize a few points of the video? Okay, so anybody else would like to? Mahesh Batra? Ishita? Okay, so now I know that I'm not getting a response right now. Right?
No, Ashok Panda this side.
Yes.
Actually,
Hi, sir. Mr.
what I
Mr.
like.
Panda, hi.
Okay.
Mr. Panda, hi.
पांडा साहब ने शुरू कर दिया है तो पांडा साहब पहले वो करेंगे, महेश आप उसके बाद, right?
Actually,
Okay. Yeah.
two
Panda
things which I liked very much about this YouTube, presentation is, the intonation of the voice, very powerful intonation voice, it's very power packed and very passionate, obviously, the audience, the attention is automatically drawn, that is a very important thing, which I very closely watched the person who was speaking also, just see the dress she was wearing, very attractive and very formal and professional dress also, that also attracts the person. I there are many other points, but I thought I had just tell you these 3 points which I liked very much.
Okay, fine, good, thank you, Mahesh. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, the video was really interesting, and then specific points that I wanted to talk about the video was she wanted to define and give a message stating that everybody does an opening of a session, but you should do a opening that clearly stays with the people. because it's like a Pareto. I mean, where you say that 80% of the problem has been done by 20% of the people. In the same manner, what she wanted to say that your opening should be that effective that if in case you wanted to leave a remark, that it should be there, or maybe to give a ease to people, you can always say that you know what, I'm there and I'll address all the questions like she mentioned specifically.
Okay.
So from there, what I probably understood was that your opening has to be that way, that it ease people so that they put a lot of emphasis on your session, and they think that we are with the right hands.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So we can give one chance to one more person in the group because yeah, there may be a few points which are still to be mentioned. So yeah, anybody who would like to come forward.
Somen here, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Somen here, sir.
Yes.
As you are discussing, we have to set the expectations for the audience also. As you were discussing WIIFM, what is informing. So that is also always better in the opening. So we can ask them their expectations from this program.
Right.
Even we can have our expectations too.
Right.
Many time I do it.
So, you know, as we've been saying earlier also, sharing of expectation, in fact, in a way, what really happens is that you create a contract, a psychological contract between trainer and the trainees, that this is the set of expectations, this is what is the objective, and these expectations are going to be met if you follow this session fully, right? So that's the type of sort of, you know, that's how you catch full attention of your audience, right? So
the point I wanted to include.
Yeah, Sonal.
Besides, many of them have included that the video said more about the, how to start the presentation, the importance of the start point, and but the main closing point of that presentation was the closing. So a great, conclusion recaps the main points of the presentation. So that was very well captured there.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Because you see, many times what happens is that we happen to be dwelling a lot in the initial parts of the session, and they get elongated. So wo lamba khich jata hai. And then towards the end, we try to rush through the whole thing. And then what really happens is we have no time to review. We do not have a time to see that what we are trying to communicate through that session, that learning that they should be getting, are those learnings going to be really cemented or not, right? So that is where I think we must prioritize and also make sure that our time management in the whole session is appropriate, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So very good. Thank you. Now, see, this is just one simple example of sort of, creating some divergence. There is some interesting thing. And in fact, in many of the many of our topics, you will find if you do some good amount of research, you will be able to get very good videos on the YouTube. And that will be, that is, if you are conducting an online course, it will always help you to give I would say, added spice to your session, right? Now, as I said earlier, many of us, we can also develop our own videos and put in as a plug-in type of thing. Why? Because what happens is when you prepare a video, you say many things in the video in a shorter time. If you are speaking at that point of time, generally what happens is we end up taking a lot more time in explaining the things. So the capsules, video capsules created by you can be a very powerful way of doing the things. And sometimes, of course, you might like to really see that once you have created something which gets repeated again and again, it is better to really put it on the video, right? Okay, yeah, Bhumi, go ahead. Yeah, you raised hand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Basically, I just wanted to tell one more thing that I used to practice, but I realized it today while we are discussing it. That
Yeah.
the introduction is in fact a way to create a rapport that you can utilize to influence your audience all throughout the session.
Yeah.
And equally important is the closing or the takeaway, because that is what will keep lingering on in your trainees' minds.
That's right. That's right. And as you become more and more adept in training as a trainer, you will be able to take in more questions at any point of time in the session. Because one of the issue about the participation is also about, when do you take the questions, when you answer the questions, because some of the people are uncomfortable that the questions are asked in between the session. But many of us who have become more practiced are able to handle the questions at any point of time. Only thing is, as we go a little ahead, I will tell you about some questions which can divert the entire flow of the session should be parked. I'm not using the word avoided, but they should be parked. What is the meaning of parking, etc.? Some of you may know. I will talk about that a little later, right? So, so please brief the participants, before starting the video. And in that, let me summarize a few things which you should keep in mind. Make sure that there are no copyright violations when using the online resources. Particularly, suppose I'm using this resource and sending it to the Zoom, then it can be a copyright violation in many situations. Of course, I won't go into the legal issues of that. However, if I'm giving a link, and this is a public a video which is open to the public, and you are using that link, then cannot be any copyright violation. While choosing the videos, etc., you should also keep in mind that the language which is being used, and the pronunciation which is being used, it is understandable by your target group. We do have this big issue because what happens is that in some of the videos, the English being used is say understandable, but sometimes some of the American videos are little difficult for quite a few people in India, that they cannot understand that pronunciation. They cannot follow that very well. Okay. So as part of the session, you should only use shorter videos. If you want your trainees to see a long video, give the link to them and give them as a homework. That is after the session. Sometimes, of course, you can tell them to see it before the session also, but otherwise it will be better to give it as a homework, and maybe in the later session, etc., you can really debate and discuss that. So that's very interesting for us to see that we have a resource available now. Resources, I mean, huge number of resources available on the web, which can be used to make our sessions, I would say, very effective, emphatic, and very interesting, right? So the next thing that I would like to use a little more on the managing involvement and participation of the people. And in that, of course, as we have talked earlier, it also depends on the degree of participation will depend on your approach. Approach is tell, sell, or win. And that will be because of the type of objective that you have. So if the objective of the session is to share knowledge, then the approach is going to be tell, and if there's going to be sort of, convince the people, then it will be like more like a selling approach. And if it is like changing the attitude, etc., and also really bring about a major reorientation, then it will be the win approach. So depending on the approach that you have chosen, you would like to really decide what should be the degree of participation. As you would know that in the telling approach, minimum participation, in selling approach, medium type, and in the winning approach, it has to be maximum sort of, participation. And it depends on the size of the group, and also as a trainer, your own level of confidence. One of the ways in which we can really make sure that the people are participating is also giving them exercises. And as you have learned in experiential exercises, as in the last semester, we can always sort of use something like a subgroup. So now I am going to put you into this subgroup part. I'm going to give you this exercise, and we'll put you, because how many people are there? Okay, we have 24 people, 24 students. Now, what I would do is I would put you into 4 breakout rooms, or so. In each breakout room, it's a subgroup, and in that you will be in fact discussing what are the things that you will be discussing. These 2 things are going to be discussed. Please recall and share with each other the key factors that enhance delivery of a training session. Right? Please note it down. Right? And please list and debate the acts by the trainer that can make a session less effective. So you discuss these things, and then each group is going to come up with a short presentation. You are not going to use PowerPoint, etc. There's no need for you to do that. You just discuss this. So I'm going to put you into this group, this breakout rooms for 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. And then you would, when you come back after 15 minutes, I would invite group A to share for 3 minutes what are the conclusions, etc., that they have drawn, group B, then group C, and group D. Right? Is that clear? Any questions on that? Right? Okay. So, Arun, is it possible for you to now, take the, group to the breakout room?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am
Yeah,
ready.
please.
Right. Right.
Yeah, please go ahead. Right.
Yeah, Pankaj Sharma, Rajnikant sir, Durga, Vandana, please join the room. Vandana, Pankaj Sharma, Rajnikant sir, Shamat sir, Durga, please join the room. Sir, some of the students is not joining the rooms. Anuj Giri, Durga, Ishita, Pankaj, Vandana, Rajnikant, Shamat Khan sir, join the room.
Okay, so welcome back to the main room. And now I would like to invite, let's say start with group one. Group one, please make a short presentation on the topics or the two questions which I had shared with you. Right. So from group one, who would like to be presenting on behalf of group one?
I propose Mr. Panda will do the honors. So
Okay.
we had a
Actually,
brief homework.
actually, we had in our group Sonal, Abhijit, Somendra, and Manali. But I find now it is Abhijit and Sonal and myself. Other
Okay.
two are not there. I don't know. They,
Okay.
maybe some problem is there.
Okay.
But anyway, we can have a little discussion on that. What
Yeah.
we discussed, that is very important. We thought to make it more convenient, we chose a subject so that we can deliberate on that subject and find out in which way we are moving. And
Okay.
the subject we chose was gender sensitivity. And
Okay.
when we chose that subject, we discussed something, like empowerment, position and responsibility, then goal. Then, we discussed about cultural identity, how teachers and parents can support, how peers can support. Then, the position in the workplace, then counseling. And when we discuss, these can all help in building, gender sensitivity, that was discussed. And then we discussed about who can really help on that. And then we thought media could be a better medium, where media can give the support. These things should happen, these things should not happen. So number one. Number two, we also focused on counseling, so that to build awareness, gender sensitivity, we thought of that. Then we thought of one thing, when we are talking of you said what we discussed was less effective. How does our discussion becomes less effective? Now, one little point, which all of us we said quite often, we don't involve the participants.
Yeah.
It's more like one way of speaking, and we don't involve the participant, as a result of which the audience lose interest in the deliberations, and ultimately the discussions becomes haywire. So
Right.
that is one very important point. Another one point which we discussed is why it becomes ineffective is another two reasons. One is the content. The content needs to be very relevant to the audience, because if it is not relevant to the audience, they also lose interest. And another one thing also which was focused was on language, because language also is a very important factor. And more than anything else, we personally felt that exuding confidence from the speaker is also very, very important,
Right.
because if you are crestfallen, heartbroken, and when you speak to the audience, instead of giving confidence to them, you are sagging their confidence,
Right.
So these are some of the points, which we discussed.
Very good. Thank
Yeah.
you. I
Thank
think
you.
it's very important points that you have really mentioned about
Thank you very much.
the personality of the person, the passion with which that trainer is really presenting himself, presenting the topic, and leading the discussion debate.
Yeah, right.
So
Right.
if the person, the trainer himself is or herself is not very excited about the subject, about the topic, then he cannot make the people excited,
Absolutely.
right? So that's very important, right? Okay, so we'll go over to group two. Group two, please go ahead. Who out of group two will be making the short presentation? Yeah. Group two or group four? One of you can start off.
Sir, we can start if whatever you say.
Yeah. Who is that? Bhumi, yeah. You, okay, go ahead.
You were group 4, sir.
Yeah, you are in group 4, no problem. We'll go over to group 4, then group 2. I'm not sure if there was anything done in the group 3, right? So group 4, please go ahead. Bhumi, please, your group.
Yeah, just a moment. Okay. So now we were four. I mean, we were initially 3 people, and then Soumya ma'am also joined, but she could not contribute. Maybe she's in some place where she could not contribute. We were 3 people: Sandhya ma'am, Gurmil ji, and me. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, as Sandhya ma'am has said, I would lead the first part of the question, which is, all the factors that influence the effectiveness of a training delivery session. I mean, effective delivery of a training session. And the second part, which is what makes training less effective, would be taken care of by Gurmil ji.
Yeah. Okay.
Coming to the first part, what makes a training session effective, and how can we deliver it effectively? The first point being proper planning and relevance. Proper planning is a must when you are going to when you want effective delivery of the session. As you said in the last session, sir, in last 2 sessions, that session plan is also equally important along with a training plan. Okay. Apart from that, relevance is very important. Many a times, if a trainer is unprepared, there might be a problem where the effectiveness of the delivery would be affected. The second point, very important point, is to check all the infrastructure, as you said in the beginning of the session, all the infrastructure related issues taken care of priorly before starting of the session, so that the session doesn't get affected due to those situations, those concerns. The third point is, also before I go to the third point, we can have a standby arrangement in case, in case there happens to be a major concern.
Right.
So that makes us think about or anticipate about the challenges that we might face and keeping handy the resolutions. Okay. The third point is, how do you have a very effective delivery of the training session is having good opening and closing. How do you do it? By starting off with good rapport building. You can set the ground in a way where you have a good, rapport with the trainees. You can also, keep the pace all throughout the session by, effectively handling their questions. Any conflict that arises amidst the session, you can also, and a trainer needs also to be very good observer. The listening skills need to be very effective. Apart from that, one thing which is very important which we notice is an interactive session. Always out rules, merely instructor led session. So this is all what we discussed about the first part. The second part of the question that you posed, which were the acts that lead to the ineffectiveness of the delivery of training session, would be taken care of by Gurmil ji.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm Gurmil Singh. I would be joining now for the second part. As Madam has completed the first part. Of course, the second part is more or less the absence of factors in the first part. That is a general thing, because whatever is not making it effective, make it less effective. But I would suggest that even then, I will give some points under 3 headings. One is the physical facilities. If there are shortcomings in the physical facilities, you see, even a non-metro, even there is a power shutdown, it can throw a very well-planned delivery session into chaos. So the physical facilities, if there are shortcomings, they are a very big factor in making the lecture delivery ineffective.
Right.
Then, of course, the trainer is a very important part of the whole exercise. Shortcomings on the part of the trainer, whether it is domain expertise, whether it is his or her preparation, or maybe due to trainers are also human, there is some lack of involvement on part of the trainer for preparing the session or for delivering the session. It can be a big handicap for delivery of the session. And thirdly, sir, the third factor is the trainees themselves. because the trainees themselves have to cooperate. They have to make the session successful as much as other factors are involved. And sometimes we may have a very disparate group where even the presence of widely differing hierarchical members are there, which may hamper it, because the junior people may not be participating, or maybe the seniors may hijack it. That kind of thing may happen. And then there is still that sometimes the trainees are also very skeptical of the whole session. So unless during the selling of the training session, or during the ice-breaking part, if they have not bought into the training, I think that is another factor which makes it very less effective. These are some of the factors which make training, this delivery of a training session less effective.
Very good, very good. In fact, the whole issue of diversity, that people may be from diverse backgrounds, and particularly you said in the same organization, if the people are of different hierarchical level, then sometimes the junior people will not open up in front of the senior people. So that becomes a challenge, how to really conduct the training and how to make the environment very, very, I would say, comfortable, and how to create a trust amongst the participants, that what they say will be listened to, and there will be no problem. It will not be taken as something against them if they are even sometimes saying something which seems to be a sort of a criticism. That should not be sort of really taken as they should be taken more like a feedback, not as a criticism or so. So those type of things become a challenge to the trainer to really handle such a situation. Very good, thank you. Now we go to group 2. Yeah, group 2.
Sir, we were there, and I was initially part of group 3, but almost everybody left within first 2 minutes. So I was moved to group 2.
Okay.
So we couldn't conclude on point number 2, because before we could do that, the time goes over. Almost I see everything is already covered. So we were 4 there. So Sachin, Arpita, and Chandrakanta along with me. So what we concluded is looking at the new today as a new India that we're looking at with pandemic. I think moving towards to digitalization, we thought of setting up certain thing which was specifically into the perfect opening. When you say perfect opening, it is important that you set the right context, because context of the session, because you are actually not physically present, as in the same way we doing session these days over our these training.
Yeah.
2, it is important that you do a right homework. So which means before you are actually moving towards to any session, it is important that you've got a right pre-work and homework done. So that because you never know as to how many people are going to be there and who all are going to be there, and which the open source of internet today. I mean, when you're doing a online session, you've got 60% of people who would actually focus in the session, and 40 who are distracted, and they might come up with any question anytime. So let's say if we're talking, let's say if I'll give you an example, if I'll put it this way, if in case we're talking something on ISTD or maybe any specific content, somebody will go Google and find out something and will raise a question to barge in your session. Hence, expectation setting is very, very important at the right time. And you should have a predefined context-based activities, because almost like every 30 minutes, it is important that you should check on everybody that they're paying attention. Likewise, when we were initially, I mean, when you asked certain questions, some of them were responding and some of them were not. So right activity is very important, so that you can connect them and you can still let them to be getting stick to your session. Spending an hour and a half, 2, or maybe at times about like 4 hours, 8 hours of online session, it gets difficult. So hence, right set of activities is very, very important, followed by the right set of closure, so that you give them a homework, and predefine things which can bring them back to next session.
Right.
I think that's all we could conclude.
Right. Good. Good. Right. That brings us to the major, challenge which the trainers have, particularly in an online environment. You see, even in a classroom, even in the training room, you do find that the people are not, all the people are not always all that attentive. But because of your physical sort of, closeness, you can actually see from the body language of the people who is not paying attention, right? And in fact, there are ways and means by which we can really gently or otherwise we can point it out and then really ask, okay, so something like this, like Sachin, you seem to be not really agreeing with what we are saying. So what is your viewpoint? Now, maybe Sachin is not really thinking about this. He is or is having something else in the mind, but he's drawn into the discussion. He has to leave that something which is bugging his mind and come over to here. But here I'm not able to do that. Why? Because number one, we do have so far we do not insist that all the people should keep their videos on, right? And in this particular program also, in today's session, we had 22 people or so. We did find this happening, that a few of the people had only connected, logged in, and perhaps they had not really bothered to listen to the whole conversation that is going on. And they didn't participate even when there was a breakout room, right? So that's a challenge to a trainer. I have faced this challenge in MBA groups, and there, of course, one could understand that there is a group of 60 people or so, and maybe it is not possible for me to really connect and check on each one of them, and many of them would also have this. If I can say, reasoning that their Wi-Fi connection was not good, so they have kept their video off or so, and like that. But the point is, this is a challenge. In online, it is much more challenge. Even in the physical sessions, this becomes a very big challenge. How to really get the full attention of the people. And it is happening for the children also. Children means जो school के children हैं, उनका भी जो online classes हो रही हैं, तो उसमें वो login करेंगे. Login करने के बाद क्या कहते हैं, अपना game खेलने शुरू कर देंगे. अब बताइए कि कैसे उससे क्या कहते हैं, online जो session है उसकी effectiveness होगी. तो यहाँ पर जो सबसे बड़ा issue है, वो यही है कि though we have started online, and we are doing it online. It has been, today is 11th of April, and it was precisely 1 year ago, that is on 11th of April, we had, on 2020, we had begun with the first online session, and that was from Delhi chapter in ISTT. Right, in ISTT, the first session was on 11th of April 2020. And in the whole year, we have done a huge amount of innovation and so many things we have tried out and all that. And we have made it quite workable. But the participants' motivation, their keenness to participate is something which we cannot guarantee. Here, we have one, say, a rule that your attendance is being taken. But suppose your attendance is not, we don't bother about it. Then at least the people who will come are the people who are actually ready to participate. Otherwise, why bother and get connected to this thing? So that in the school and in the colleges, we do have this rule. For these programs, for like diploma, we have created a rule that, okay, there should be this attendance. in earlier there was no attendance also. And then the people who were coming were really who wanted to learn. So the whole issue of rule that we create, attendance rule, does it really work? That's a challenge. I have also sort of, been conducting sessions for other groups, which are, say, for example, some weeks ago, I did it for Indian Forest Service officers. And there we also had challenge. But then there were very responsible people, at the level of chief conservator of forest. They were attempting, they were there. Those who participated, they did it very well. There was wonderful participation, but there were a few whom I couldn't see, whom I could not connect, but they were there as participants on the Zoom session. So the biggest challenge today in online is this attention and involvement of the participants. Now, I'm going to give you this as a homework. Think about what is it that we can do to ensure better participation in an online environment, right? And just a few things I would like to share before I conclude. We have got 10 minutes to do that. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and wanted to cover more things, but never mind. Yeah, Bhumi has raised hand. Please go ahead, Bhumi.
Sir, before we conclude the session, I also want you to throw some light on a point which is very much seen when we conduct sessions. Like many a times there are distracting factors which are not in our control. Like there would be whenever I used to conduct session for last 4 years, I used to see that there would be at least one or two candidates who would try to who were not interested in actually that training that we conducted, and they would try their level best to see that the train disturb everyone else by putting irrelevant questions, illogical questions, and not getting convinced, and a lot of other things, right? So in those type of situations, what are the effective ways? We do follow certain ways, but you throwing some light on it will help us.
Yeah. See, that's a big challenge. In fact, in a group of 15 to 20 people, you will always find some people who will be like, number one, first of all, they would like to test whether the trainer knows everything, which, so from their point of view. Now, they are trainees and they don't know the subject. But they want to, first of all, be the judge whether the trainer is an expert or not. So the point is, this is a sort of,
kind of an absurd thing, because when I do not have a knowledge of a certain thing, how can I test someone is something that I never understood.
Yeah, so it is very illogical. But this illogical thing happens. Therefore, one of the things which you should really do is, as a trainer, you have to create the right impression. And as Mr. Panda had earlier just mentioned, and he had said that, you should look confident. You should look that you are an expert. You should give that sense of confidence to the trainees that I know. But even then, there will be people who will really question and all that. And that is what we learn as we become more and more mature trainer, how to handle such, I would say, problem participants. But then you should also see that some of them are really naughty, and in the classes, particularly in the school and colleges, you do find that sort of naughtiness. But we do find even at a adult level, there are some people who have been pushed into the program. They have to go to the program, and they didn't want to come to the
generally there are such people who are not interested but are forced to Yes.
You
That
would
is
have
yes.
people, children who have been forced by their parents, "Bhai, ye seekho," right? Okay, so they do that, right? Okay, so that's where the entire like maturity as a trainer really comes. There are no simple answers. The only thing is that there are many ways in which when they are asking questions, you can turn the question around. Either you can say, okay, this is a good question, and but it doesn't connect with the topic that we are having. So we can discuss it offline, means outside after the class,
Yes,
right?
that's what we used to do
Yeah,
because every time in every session there would be at least one or two candidates testing, the trainer.
that is there, right? Soumya also raised hand. So Soumya, please, yeah, your question or your comment.
So may I answer the query here, which has been asked by her?
Please do, please do. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, I'm from academic background, and I come to face these kind of situations regularly. And there is a very solid way to solve these sort of problems. Is that, see, ultimately, whether you like it or not, a trainer likes it or not, or finds it troubling or anything, ultimately, it's the duty of the trainer or the teacher to cater that trainee to, because forced or like being self-motivated, the trainee is there in the session. So it's my responsibility being a trainer to attend that, first thing. The second thing is that if the trainee is trying to distract through some irrelevant question, and my sessions are like for certain subject for 20 sessions, then not all, but yes, for 1 or 2 or 3 sessions, it is responsibility of a trainer to attend those sort of trainees and discuss. Now, let's say कि अगर उनका इंटरेस्ट नहीं है उस टॉपिक पे, ठीक है, और आपके टॉपिक पे इंटरेस्ट नहीं है और कुछ और वो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो यस, लेट्स गिव देम 5 minutes or 10 minutes to just to make them feel कि yes, we are listening you too. Now whatever you want to discuss, let's listen it in front of everyone. If you'll do it once, twice or thrice with different others, they would also get an impression of you that yes, my trainer attends me too, whether and they themselves also know that they are trying to distract, but they will get an impression of yours that my trainer discusses the things with me no matter how distracting I am. So if you'll do it once, twice, thrice, not every time, it will definitely give them an impression that yes, I was being heard, and or my mischievousness was catered, and later on you can convert it into a fruitful thing for everybody.
Right,
So
right.
this will give a good message.
And that actually works. I have tried it a number of times. Thank you, Soumya, for pointing that out, because it actually.
Somendra, sir, may I add something? Somendra.
Yeah, Somendra, go ahead.
Yeah, there are 4D methods to handle these situations.
Yeah.
There are 4 Ds. One D is detour, D-E-T-O-U-R. Second is diffuse. Third is delay, and fourth is dismiss. These are the 4 techniques which the trainer has to use, because detour it is told that if he is asking some question and not paying attention, just change the topic and give him an example very much related to his question, but it should be from the social background or something very familiar. That is called detour. So you are giving an example, just changing the topic.
Okay. So what you do, I would very good. You have given this 4D method. Share it.
If you allow me, I can share my PPT. If you allow me to share.
You do like this, that share it. I mean, write it down in detail and send it to us. We'll share it on the
I will share it with you.
Or you yourself share it on the WhatsApp. Refer to our discussion today.
Yeah, I will.
Also at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Soumya and Somendra. And please, Somendra, do share about it. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I had done training with VILT, virtual instruction trainer. There I learned this technique, this 4 days. Through one of the online programs, so I will share it.
See, this is the advantage of having an adult group, because in adult group you learn from each other. It's not only the trainer who will tell you. it is from each other also we learn. Yeah, Mahesh has also raised hand.
Sir, at times you say old is a gold method. So when you do a physical training, as in a face-to-face training, or maybe in a training group, whenever you've got somebody who wants to distract your session, what do we do is there's something called a peer pressure. I mean, when you design a when you design a training room,
Yeah.
you can always use a peer pressure, whereas you put a point forward and then have 4 or 5 positive trainee of yours who will just say yes onto whatever you say.
Yes.
As soon as this individual, he, she, or whosoever that person is, will find out that you've kind of created a pressure there by raising this individual. The individual itself will stop.
Yeah, that's right. There are, as you become a more mature trainer, you develop these tricks and you know how to really manage the sort of, groups, right? It has been a long day for all of you. You have been, going through the 4 sessions. And as I had told earlier, we have kept these sessions on the one day because of strong demand which had come from the students earlier, and that is why otherwise earlier say semester, what we were doing is we were trying to do a couple of papers on Saturday and a couple of papers on Sunday. So this what we have done in the one day is only for this reason, that there was a strong demand from all of you. Most of you. Of course, for some people, it doesn't really matter. They actually would like to divide it, over Saturday and Sunday. But there are many who are, despite the fact that Saturday is maybe declared as a holiday in their organization, they still have to work, So that's the challenge that we were having. We were, just a minute. Okay, so what we have is pandemic is again surging. I would like you to take care of yourself and you take care of your families. Carry on working, carry on studying, but stay safe and take all the precautions.
Sir, I wanted to add something. Actually, I wanted to request something from you.
Yeah, please.
Actually, sir, most of our sessions are focused on the theoretical part of the courses. And as per our question patterns, we have to answer the part B, which is almost 50% of the total marks. So at least I think I will request you, sir, to please arrange for each paper one session where we can discuss these case studies. At least the earlier question papers case.
Okay.
Because to be frank with you, in my first semester also, I am not confident about the cases studies I have mentioned. So I wanted to have a clarity. I talked to a lot of students and the seniors also, but I was not satisfied with the answer.
Okay.
So if we can discuss case.
Okay. We do like this. Yeah. I think Bhumi, you would like to add something to this, or?
Yes, sir. Adding to his query about this case study things, I definitely understand. This discussion is important, but to have more case studies and research through it, Sumitra, you can download the journals, that are available on our portal, because there are a lot.
That is okay, but do you find it difficult to discuss? Why should we cannot discuss? Why should we read only theory?
Okay. I would, yeah, okay.
I can go to no issue with that.
I will respond to this. See, we are scheduled to have 7 sessions, and most of these sessions will be over by 25th of April, right? Barring my paper, all others should be over by 25th of April. your say this suggestion of having some discussion on the old papers and the case studies. Will schedule some sessions in the early part of June and do it right
Yes, sir.
before,
Thank you, sir.
right? So we'll
Yeah,
do it.
if somebody wish to join, he or she will join. If somebody has journals, they can go to them.
So we'll do it, and we'll do it in the beginning of June, right?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
We'll do it.
Sir, can we also have a kind of, some discussion for these kind of things? I was just thinking about it, a discussion forum for only the questions, exam questions. Those questions, supposedly those case studies are put forth and people would discuss points on that forums, because when
Yeah, so in that June, we will be close to the examinations, and we will actually, take up the case studies, plus also the questions that you may be having, and the otherwise how to respond to the questions, how to write out the questions, etc. So those we'll take care of.
So somewhere it's required to have the discussion with the
I don't have any idea. I'll check out with Raghu Raman, and in case I know, because they must be working right now. It is already about quite some time. February 7th or 8th was the last this week. So 2 months are over. They should be coming out in soon. But I'll check it up. I'll check it up and put it on the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. Chalo. Bye. Then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.